Have you ever met someone who was always kind, always smiling, always helpful, and somehow every time you were around them, you walked away feeling smaller? Not because they insulted you, not because they yelled at you, but because they knew something far more powerful. They knew how to make you question yourself without ever looking like the bad guy. The most dangerous manipulators rarely look dangerous. Sometimes, they look like the nicest person in the room. Now, before we go any further, let's make one thing clear. Being kind is not the same as being fake. Most genuinely kind people care because they expect nothing in return. But some people use kindness as a strategy. Not everyone who smiles is manipulating you. The behaviors we're about to explore become meaningful when they appear as consistent patterns over time, not as one-off moments. And if you've ever wondered why certain relationships leave you exhausted, guilty, or constantly trying to, this might explain more than you think. Imagine you're starting a new job. On your first day, one coworker immediately helps you. They introduce you to everyone. They buy you coffee. They compliment your work before they've even seen it. At first, you think you've found a great friend. But weeks later, something changes. They begin asking for small favors, then bigger ones. They remind you of everything they've done for you. They make jokes that somehow leave you feeling embarrassed. If you hesitate to help them, they say things like, "I thought we were closer than that." Suddenly, you're doing things you never wanted to do. Not because they forced you, because they made you feel like you owed them. Psychologists call this the principle of reciprocity. Human beings are naturally wired to return favors. It's one of the reasons society functions. But in the wrong hands, this instinct becomes a powerful tool of influence. A manipulative person may invest in you, not because they care, but because they're expecting a return on that investment. Their kindness comes with invisible strings. And here's the scary part. Those strings are usually invisible until you're already tangled in them. Have you ever apologized for something that wasn't actually your fault? Think about that. Someone says, "I guess I'll just handle everything myself." Or, "It's okay, I'm used to being disappointed." Notice something? They never directly accuse you. Yet somehow, you feel guilty. This is emotional suggestion. Instead of asking for what they want honestly, they create an emotional atmosphere where saying no feels cruel. Your brain begins solving a problem they quietly created. And because humans hate feeling like bad people, we often surrender before realizing we're being pressured. But manipulation isn't always about guilt. Sometimes, it's about confusion. Imagine sharing an idea in a meeting. Nobody reacts. 5 minutes later, someone repeats your exact idea. Everyone applauds. Later, when you mention it, they laugh. "Oh, I didn't realize you said that." Was it an honest mistake? Maybe, or maybe it wasn't. Some people slowly rewrite reality in tiny ways, not enough for you to prove, just enough to make you question your own memory. One event means very little. A repeated pattern deserves attention. Over time, you stop trusting yourself. And once someone can make you doubt your own perception, they no longer need to control your decisions. You'll start controlling yourself. That's one of the most subtle forms of influence. Because the prison doesn't have walls. It's built inside your mind. Now here's something even stranger. Have you noticed how some people never directly criticize you? Instead, they compare you. "Oh, Sarah finished this much faster. My other friend never complains." They're planting comparison. Comparison creates insecurity. Insecurity creates dependence. And dependence creates control. Because people who constantly doubt themselves become easier to influence. This is why confident people often make manipulators uncomfortable. Confidence asks questions. Confidence sets boundaries. Confidence doesn't need constant approval. Which brings us to another pattern, the compliment that isn't really a compliment. "You actually look great today. You're smarter than I expected. You've improved so much." At first, your brain hears praise, but hidden underneath is a different message. "Before today, you weren't enough." These are often called backhanded compliments, tiny remarks that slowly reshape how you see yourself. One comment isn't life-changing. Hundreds of them over months or years, that's different. Now, let me ask you something. Who controls someone more effectively? The person who gives orders, or the person who makes you want their approval? Most people choose the first, but history suggests otherwise. Approval is addictive. Our brains release rewarding feelings when we're accepted. That's why social rejection literally activates some of the same brain regions involved in physical pain. Some people instinctively, or intentionally, learn to control access to approval. One day they're warm, the next day they're distant, then warm again, then cold again. You never know which version you'll get. And because humans crave predictability, you start chasing the good moments, not because they're frequent, because they're unpredictable. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement. It's one of the strongest ways habits are formed. The same principle appears in gambling. You don't win every time. Healthy relationships feel consistently respectful, even during disagreements.